Hey YouTube, Qualia here, bringing you all my budget gear Chronicle Cardfight Vanguard deck profile for post the Astral Force. Wanted to do one of the first deck profiles from the Astral Force booster pack, being a budget deck for Gear Chronicle, probably one of the most expensive decks to come out of the Astral Force booster pack. I was considering using some of the foil cards from the set as well for the budget deck, but most of them focus around the Chrono Tiger deck, which is definitely a very high priced deck. Most of the cards, including some of the double rares, exceeding values that I've never seen for standard format in the form of all the different cards, and probably only going to get crazier from there with the upcoming Gear Chronicle support as well. So I wanted to focus on a budget deck for Gear Chronicle, focusing on just the rares and commons you can pull from the set. I also used some of those cards from the previous booster set that had Gear Chronicle support, but you don't have to use those cards if you wanted to use just the cards from this set. I can show what cards you can take out for additional numbers of the cards shown in this video for the deck profile. The main focus of the deck is to get to your grade 4, which is Nouvelle around Dragon. Not through Striding, sadly, that focuses on more of the Lost Legend and the Chrono Tiger being a more expensive deck, but still being able to ride the grade 4 we have in the deck as the chosen card, and then focusing on all the other different effects in the deck that adjust the grades of your units based on, having the grade 4 Vanguard. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the initial grade 4 setup, if you only want to run 2 of the Nouvelle Around Dragon, being a main focus card, you also have to lower your grade 3 count to adjust to the numbers of grade 4s you have in the deck. So potentially you want to run 4 Nouvelle Around Dragon, but if you want to adjust the numbers, you can also just try 2 Nouvelle Around Dragon and then run 2 Mellow Amusement Colossus. It doesn't have Imaginary Gift Force, just like Nouvelle Around Dragon, but still being a grade 4 with 15,000 power on your Vanguard circle, and having the ability to call other units means you can preserve cards in your hand and then also have the option for calling additional ones to the field from the top of your deck, potentially stronger ones from the ones you may have in your hand, and then having your Mellow Amusements Colossus have a guard restriction effect by binding a card from your hand when it's placed on rear. If you wanted to run the full 4 Nouvelle Around Dragon, you would take out the 2 Colossus for 2 additional Nouvelle Around Dragon, and then having just to ride from your grade 3 into your grade 4, and then, like I said, standing on this 15k base with this grade 4 unit, and then being able to ride the same grade 4 over and over again for that play if you open up the multiples of the card. But when placed, +1, discard 2 cards from your hand, look at 3 cards on top of your deck and call them to rear. So the discard 2 is made up for the 3 cards you would call with this card, eating cards away from your hand, but we have other cards in the deck that can help to preserve those resources and then come in handy later on also. For the grade 3s, I have 2 Steam Links Gudia, I believe is how you pronounce the name, and 2 Escrew Dragon from the previous set with Gear Chronicle in it. Escrew Dragon and also Steam Links Gudia both have Imaginary Gift Force, but they're also different effects depending on what you want to run. If you're going off of completely the new set, then you'll run the 4 Steam Links Gudia, but if you wanted more of a power-based play for your grade 3 until you ride into your Nouvelle Around Dragon, you'll want to run the 4 Escrewed Dragons. On Vanguard or rear, when it attacks a Vanguard, +1, bind one of your other rear guards, choose one of your opponent's rear guards with a grade less than that card, and put it on the bottom of the deck. If it was put on the bottom of the deck, you draw a card. So draw power with also being able to take out your opponent's rear guards when this card attacks, and it's also a rear guard effect as well. So if you set up your Vanguard with Nouvelle Around Dragon, you can still call your additional Escrewed Dragons to the rear to have power plays to go off of also with this card. And then with Steam Links Gudia on Vanguard or rear, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, and this unit gets +5,000 to end of turn. It's not a once per turn as well, so remember that with Steam Links Gudia. So you can use it as much of the resources to get rid of your opponent's rear guards, and then having this card continue to get the +5,000 power as well. It comes down to the preference of which grade 3 you want to run in this build for the budget plays. We're going to be seeing a lot of different debates on the ones you want to run for the number of units in this deck, but like I said, it comes down to the player. You can even try the 2-2 combo, but at the end of the day, if you want to focus more on just the new pack, the Astral Force that came out, you can go for this 4 Steam Links Gudea, but if you want to go for more of the power-based play, I'd definitely go with the Screwed Dragon, since it makes up for it with the draw card, which definitely helps more, I would say, than the +5 power, since you can rely on Imaginary Gift Force for a good amount of your strength in the deck also. And then moving on to the grade 2s, I am running 3 Steam Sweeper Nahram. Discard a card from your hand, and when your opponent would call cards from hand to guard circle for the battle of this unit attack this turn, he or she must call 2 or more cards at the same time. So it's kind of like a smaller version of Mellow Amusements Colossus, being able to just have that guard restriction when this card attacks on the rear guard circle, and then also being able to power it up with your Imaginary Gift Force, or even just when you boost it with another grade 1 on the field. It definitely does come in handy for that overall pressure you can do with this card, relying on it for the power play you can do against your opponent, making them eat up their hand more and more with this card on rear guard. But I'm only using 3 of it since you don't want it to be the main focus of the deck. With my grade 2 count, I split up the numbers just so you have enough resources for cards to rely on for your rear guard plays being a big focus of the deck for sure. And I'm also running 3 Steam Reporter Aboom. When it intercepts, bind a card from your hand, and one of your units cannot be hit until the end of that battle. So it's just basically like a small Sentinel when you intercept with this card. If you bind a card from your hand, it gives you that extra protection for your unit not to be hit if you're low on other cards in your hand, or just depending on the guard restrictions. So you can call Steam Reporter Aboom from your hand, attack with it, and then rely on this card, knowing it's on the field as an additional Sentinel-like card on the field to protect yourself against your opponent. And I'm also running 3 Steam Sweeper Sargo. This one goes more off of the adjustment for when you are on your grade 4 Novella Round Dragon. At the beginning of your battle phase, increase or decrease this unit's grade to match one of your Vanguard's grade until end of turn. When it attacks, counterblast 4 and draw a card. This cost is reduced by counterblast 1 for each of your grade 4 units. So with this card, potentially, you can have the setup you need with your Novella Round Dragon, and then also just need a counterblast 1 for its draw 1 if you adjust its grade. So if you have your Novella Round Dragon as your Vanguard and you have your 2 Steam Sweeper Sargos on the rear guard, you increase or decrease this unit's grade to match one of your Vanguards, so they're both going to be grade 4. And when it attacks, since it's reduced for this card for each of your grade 4 units, you only have to counterblast 1 to get the 2 draw power with this card also, coming in handy especially as long as you have the setup on your Vanguard as well. If you want to do increase the number of this to 4 in the deck, you could try taking out 1 Steam Sweeper Nahram for the additional card, especially just for that setup, and especially if you're going for the 4 Novella Round Dragon in the deck also. And then to finish off the grade 2s, I'm just running the 2 Steam Maiden Ishbel on rear guard. At the end of the battle to attack, if your hand has 3 or more or less cards, counterblast 1, retire this unit, and draw 2 cards. So the draw power for this definitely helps if you invested all your plays on your field for the big attack against your opponent, and you just need some more of the hand card power in your hand to rely on with this card. Only the 2 though. Most of the time when I ran more of this card for its draw power, I would just have too many cards in my hand, since you have to have 3 or less, and with this I would usually have the 2 in my hand after the drive check and the draw 2 afterwards, so I wouldn't be able to get any more additional cards off of this, especially also if I got a draw trigger in my hand from that 2 when my Vanguard attacked, obviously, also, which you also do want to rely on a good amount of times. And that is it for the grade 2s. We'll now move on to the grade 1s. I run 4 Steam Fighter Zabaya, I believe is how you pronounce it, that is an I. But once again, just like Steam Link's Gudea, this one relies on a not once per turn, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and retire it. So you can retire a good amount of your opponent's rear guards with this card alone, but also if you aren't relying on your grade 3 Steam Link's Gudea, which will give you the +5 power also until end of turn for this unit, while Steam Fighter Zabaya just has the discard power, but still a good option to have if you're no longer on your grade 3 Vanguard and you're on Novella Round Dragon, relying on your grade 4 power base for this card as well. And I'm also running 3 Steam Sweeper Militia. At the beginning of your battle phase, increase or decrease this unit's grade to match one of your Vanguard's grade until end of turn. So it helps also with your grade 4, and also when you're going for the play for Steam Sweeper Sargo, reducing the counterblast cost for this as well by having a grade 1 booster on the field. And when your grade 4 unit attacks, hits a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and retire it. So the retire power, we don't really use Soul for too much else in the deck also, so a big help there for sure with this unit strength in Soul Blast and retiring. And for more draw power, I'm also running 3 Quickie Worker. This is from the old original set. If you want to try some other cards, I'll show the next card you can put in instead for Quickie Worker, but still helping when placed from your hand. Put up to 1 card from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck. If you put a grade 3 or greater card, Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. So just a good way to recycle your grade 3 or greater cards so you can have more grade 3 options in your deck, or even just to continually ride your grade 4s by having them go back into the deck to reuse as well. And I am also running for the Sentinel, kind of a mix mash of them here, because sadly I only pulled the 2 from the set, and that is the Steam Janitor Gitlim being the discard draw Sentinel, and then also the generic place to protect your unit from attacks. I have the generic one here, and also the additional unit Meteorite Light Colossus. If you didn't want to run Quickie Worker, which I definitely do recommend just for the fact that you don't use Soul for much else in the deck, you can put in Meteorite Light Colossus, which I'm just subbing in here for another perfect card as the spot for Quickie Worker. And then for the grade 0s, I decided to save Chrono, I believe Tiger, for the starter when I build the Chrono Tiger and Chrono Fang deck. So for the starter for this deck, I'm using Primordial Draco Kid. I'd just say more fitting, being more of a basis of the Steam units in this deck as well for this starter, but still being the draw card when wrote upon generic effect. And for the trigger lineup, going with the 8 critical, since it's the ones we could easily get from the latest booster pack. So 4 Steam Bomber Dugui and 4 Reclaim Key Draco Kid. And then for the draw trigger, running 4 Roly Poly Worker, just the generic draw trigger, since Malem is from the previous set, a little more difficult to get as well. And for Steam Dr. Martash for the heal trigger. I do believe we're getting a new heal with the Chronojet deck, but for now, this is the one we have for the deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. Definitely look forward to the Chrono Fang deck. It is more expensive, but still plan on doing that deck profile as well with all the new support. And also look forward to the budget Angel Feather deck profile. And I'll see if there's anything I can do to work with the Valkyrion support for a Uranus Genesis deck profile as well. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.